Well, there you are again. Charlie Greer podcast. Again, I do this every day. Today, we're going to talk about Howard Stern. Love me some Howard Stern. Um, Basically, a hero of mine. What I'm doing now, even though it looks so shitty, I'm kind of taking a page out of his book, the Howard book, just using what you have, uh, leaning into all your personality defects and your lack of being handsome and all that other stuff. Yeah, Howard Stern. I love Howard Stern. I mean, I've listened to Howard since I discovered him like in the late 80s. Uh, um, I kind of heard of Howard, but I didn't. But he had done an interview with Axl Rose like in 88 or 89. Um, I called him on the phone and they talked for like a half an hour. And like Sebastian Bach from Skid Row was there and their girlfriend. It was, they're partying or whatever. So that kind of went not viral, but back in the day, they'd play that on other radio stations around. Even they'd play it. And at the time, Guns N' Roses were like the biggest thing. I don't know if people remember this, but back in the late 80s, Guns N' Roses were like the top band. They were huge. So I heard it. I was like, oh, who's Howard Stern? And then I'd hear it from here and there. Also, there was like tape trading, like cassette trading. That was a thing. People make you, a dub on a tape and you get this, that, and the other. So I loved Howard Stern. Then in the 90s, maybe the early 90s, he started doing an entertainment show. And I'd watch that. Like, I mean, I loved it. I all of them, man. Fred and Robin and Stuttering John and Jackie the Joke Man. And I thought it was awesome. Now, some people around me like, oh, this is the dumb. What do you? And I was just like, hey, I think I get it. Cheers, man. Black coffee. It is 9 on the dot in the a.m. Wow. Doing a little later today. Usually I'm up. But yeah, Howard Stern, king of all media, pretty much invented the genre of like what people do to this day. I mean, shit. He's the Elvis of radio. I mean, he's the beginning and the end, the zenith. Pardon me. And I don't agree with everything that he says or does or on the show. You know what I mean? It's not like I have to be, oh no, I love him. But there were certain things, it's just kind of catchy and, the throwing bologna on asses. But his wit and his, and how they did the show. Like Jackie the Joke, they would like slide over a piece of paper to Howard and Howard would read them and do the bit. And the bit would be Jackie, the Joke Man, who's writing these, is handing these to Howard to make fun of Jackie. But Jackie's acting like he's mad and this, that. I mean, you know how hard that is to pull off? You're the one like, oh, Howard, I'm about to walk out of here if you don't stop. And he's the one doing it. He's the one sliding over the genius and quick speed. They're writing shit down on a marker, the piece of paper. This is before, shit. And Fred Norris, the sound guy, dude, Fred's a genius. He's hilarious. Sometimes he just has to say one thing in the back or his laugh. I mean, I love Fred. I wish I had a Fred. Shit. And Robin, just one of the best radio voices. And her, can you imagine being around all that madness? I mean, I'm surprised she didn't snap. And just her demeanor. And again, her wit, too. She's smart and funny. And I love them all. And then it got into and Stuttering John. Funny thing about Stuttering John, excuse me, man, my hair jelly kind of. I have a weird connection with Stuttering John. Like, look, I love Stuttering John. Hey, man, people, whatever. This is in 93 or 94, maybe. I was in a band called Love Engineer. And we kind of got hot and we had, little labels, bigger labels. People were kind of courting us. One of them was Atlantic Records. I forgot the guy's name, but man, he really teased us up. He was like, "Oh man, Atlantic Records, we love L bands. Bands start with L, Led Zeppelin. What?" And they were courting us. And we opened up for a few Atlantic record artists, like in clubs, not like big gigs. I didn't know, Stuttering John had a band, the Stuttering John band, I guess, whatever. So we were getting down to the nitty gritty, and we're like, dude, we're going to sign with Atlantic. This is our dreams are going to come true, whatever. And then we got a letter and then a phone call, and they're like, yeah, because what they do is these labels, they'll sign a bit like quarterly. You've only got so much time. If you don't sell like 10,000 albums in that 4 months, whatever it is, you're gone. There's a tax write-off or whatever. So we knew we weren't going to be full on. They were just going to test. Hey, we'll sign. Just see, you guys are good locally. You can do that nationally, and then internet. But we get this call. It might have even been a letter. So we got a call on a letter that they were like, hey, we're going with this Stuttering John from Howard Stern. And I knew, so I was like, Stuttering John. And they explained, like, yeah, Howard has all these millions of viewers, and just so we get a tenth of that, a little bit of that, John would be successful. And I was like, man, that is not going to fly. Anytime you do something like that, coattail right off something else, I don't care how good John is, that's not the way to go. But no, they were all in. So it was literally like Love Engineer and Stuttering John got signed. And people in my band were like, fuck Stuttering John. And I was like, no, man, I like Stuttering John. And I heard that song. It was okay. I never had anything bad about, again, shit happens. You move on. Good for Stuttering John. And speaking of Stuttering John, dude, how hard he was a stutterer. I used to stutter too. I was a stutterer when I was younger. I still kind of do. I have a speech impediment. I've kind of overcome it. But how much harder he's had to work than everybody else. How many making fun of him, talk about? And he went on to do like shit. He was the fucking announcer for the Tonight Show with Jay Leno. Fucking stutterer did that. Balls, just confident, hey, whatever. I might, if I met in person, I might not get along, but I can take my hat off, man. The world is, it's an arduous task getting through this world, especially if you're doing something artistic and trying to get along. For him to do that, man, I take my hat off. Stuttering John, God bless you. That's I get it. Let people say what they're going to say. And I've seen Stuttering John's got a podcast. Go check him out. But yeah, so Stuttering John, early 2000 or something, left to go do Jay Leno. So they had, doing Win Stuttering John's money or whatever it was, his job. And then comedians come in and sit. One of them was Artie Lang. Now, I had seen Artie on like mid 2000s on Mad TV. I remember when Mad TV came out in like 95, maybe it was the TV show. I was a Mad TV. See, I was a kid of the 70s. So Mad Magazine, Alfred E. Newman. I was all into Mad Magazine, going to the 7-Eleven, get Mad Magazine. So that show came out. I was, hey, it's coming. It's going to start next month. I was watching it. And I didn't know. I didn't pin. I liked it. But I saw Artie, okay. He's one of the guys that substituted for, sitting in for John. I heard that they actually wanted Adam Carolla. They offered him the job because he was one of the guys sitting in. He was like, no, I just got a deal. So they picked Artie, which is the best thing. I think the Artie Lang is my favorite comedian. Like that's in my era, like now or what. He's kind of, older, but man, Artie, shit. I relate to Artie. His dad died when he was in a teen, and my dad too. And there's certain things about me and Artie that I get, and love his sense of humor, love his honesty. He had a podcast for a while that was amazing. The Artie Quitter podcast. You can find it. You go out there, join, or whatever the hell. It might be still be up. So he got the job, I think, in 2003, maybe 2002. And he did that to 2009, I think. He had some problems. But those years, man, those Artie years, may be some of the best radio that was ever. Artie Lang, man. I just re-listened to it. I watch it over and over. Artie is just so funny and just again, his style, like he just not trying to be somebody. Again, I'm kind of taking that out of how I'm doing mine, taking a page out of Howard Stern and Artie Lang's books. Like, hey, what do you have? You ain't got much, but you got yourself and this, whatever you got, to do that. Master that. Don't try to be someone else, and you're not going to have your flow and your game. And, just be you. Who am I? Well, that's who I am. That's what I'm going to do. I got that from Stern and later on Artie. I mean, we kind of already know this unconscious knowledge, but man, you got to, hey, let's do it. You don't want to be like, here I am. Huh? No, I can't be somebody, again, make fun of yourself. Before you point the finger at someone else, point it at yourself. Howard used to he would rail on himself, man. Talk about some embarrassing shit that was funny. Nobody was doing that. You want to be like, oh yeah, I'm so great. I was like, look, I got a small penis. I got this. So after Artie, they never replaced Artie. That's a big chair to replace. And I think Artie was the only one, or the first one, the only one ever, that they just left his microphone on. Usually, Howard had a button where if you're going to say something, he'd hit it and you could talk. Artie had free reign. But Artie knew how to, for one, he was a huge Stern fan. He knew the show. He knew how not to step on people's word, and then, knew what to say. And, a comedy assassin, man, Artie Lang. Hey, Jay, I hope he's doing well. I wish he'd bring back his podcast. Shit. Go find Dan Filato. Get it done. I mean, who knows? And everybody on the show. Shuley, who came later, who was a news guy. Shuley Egar, I think his last name is. He's got a podcast now. Watch the Shuley show, man. Shuley's funny. I love Shuley. He's got a few. One of it, the Uncle Rico, where he makes fun of Stutter and John. By the way, earlier today when I got up, I was watching Shuley. I love Shuley. I love his attitude. I love it. He's funny. He's not trying to be, he was a huge Stern fan, and he was a fan calling in, and then he got hired, and he was a news guy. Like they had Howard, 100 News or whatever, and they would just report on people on the show. It was awesome. And you got the Whack Pack, man. You got Hank the Angry Drunken Dwarf or whatever. And oh God, there's a ton of them. But they, again, Beetlejuice and, the other dude, Eric the Actor, or Eric the Midget, they call it, Eric the Actor. Ballsy little guy, man. Again, born into this, had disease, crippled up. They didn't care. He was going to live his life. He was only supposed to live till he was like 7. He died in his 30s or something. Again, Howard made stars out of people, even people with like disability, Bigfoot and, well, there's 2 Bigfoots, but just, Marianne from Brooklyn, just everybody. He could take, matter of fact, I heard that they were looking for interns or something. This is back in the day, and people showed up, and Gary, Baba Booey. I forgot to mention Baba Booey. Amazing. I love Gary. To think his job trying to run this show. So they were looking for interns back in the day. It might have been in the 80s. And Gary's like, hey, dude, there's a guy downstairs. He's a stutterer. And Howard's first words like, grab him. We'll make him a star. And he did. A lot of the stuff that, that Stuttering John ended up doing was because of Howard. And then people that ripped off Howard, like took his cadence and how he talked, like, Man Cow out of Chicago. And again, Howard Stern invented a genre. He's still doing it. I don't see how he's doing. He's older now. He's got to be damn near 70. And good for Howard. People are like, oh, Howard's changed. He's kind of mellowed out. Well, shit, how old is he? You change. There's only so much baloney you can throw in an ass. You mature. Sorry about that, my hair. You get to times change. People need to do what they got to do. If he feels comfortable doing that, then that's what I support Howard, man. I love Howard. On his worst day, he's better than all of us combined, man. He he was doing like, how many hours would they do? Start at 6, like 4 hours straight talking, just radio, and that's brutal. That's hard to make it look kind of effortless and just easy. The hard part's making it look easy. And then how honest he was, having his parents on and talking about shit that most people would just, oh no, see, I'm perfect. No, Howard knew before anybody else, I guess, to be like, no, man, I'm going to turn this piece of coal into a diamond. I'm just going to compress it. I'm just going to, do my own thing. Talk about this. And he was talking about some uncomfortable stuff, making it funny. That should teach us all a lesson about like, hey, man, we got to talk about some stuff. Let's just, kind of humor, make stuff honest, and somehow you can communicate what you want to say. Again, I'm just basically stealing in wholesale amounts from Howard, from Artie, from Stuttering John, even from because Stuttering John, man, they go out on the street, man on the street or whatever, and he'd ask the craziest questions. And he got beat up, and kept on doing it, and he's stuttering, Shuley, I think Shuley's amazing. I love I'm subscribed to his YouTube channel. I watch it every time. I mean, sometimes I put it on when I go to sleep. See, a lot of the stuff I'll put it on before I go to bed and listen to it as I'm going to sleep. And sometimes I'll re-listen if I, but yeah, that's exactly the blueprint I'm using is the Howard Stern blueprint, which everybody else is doing also. They just don't want to admit it. He invented that kind of radio. I'm not talking about like Z Morning. Hey, come on, yeah, because they make fun of that. But I mean, like, and he was he's a great interviewer. He's interviewed everybody, and he could get stuff out of them. He could lull them into a, and then bam, answer, say what? And Howard had it rough growing up, getting beat up, but sticking to himself, sticking to his, and again, and I think Howard's dad had a studio or not a radio, I don't know, but so he grew up around, again, you need to use anything you can. And he has his father on. I love that. His mother. I mean, I think it's amazing. So that's what I'm kind of, again, the blueprint of my show, which ain't, I mean, come on. It goes back to the theory of, hey, you ain't got much. You got a laptop sitting on some cardboard boxes in front of you. This old Civil War house with busted window, just not busted window, but window frames aren't perfect. And, you need to buy better equipment. Yes, I'm gonna. But don't play around. Don't get like a green screen and try to be this and, oh, no, everything. No. I'm just going to be honest. I talk about, again, I'm taking a page out of Howard Stern book. I'm talking about my mistakes. I'm talking about my past. I'm talking about all this. Sometimes it's fun and fun. Sometimes I get on here and rant. Sometimes I got to admit certain things. That's part of my podcast maturity. I'm coming up on 100 episodes. I think it's Monday. It'll be my 100th, which my podcast is unsuccessful. Nobody's watching this. I don't got any subscribers, no viewers. But to me, that is a personal victory. 100 of these. Yes, success. Because honestly, it's hard what I do. I had to take a shitty job and I have to do it before like to go to work. And every day I've missed that first month I started, I got sick. So I missed, I think, 1 day or 2 days. But I've just been mowing through. And sometimes it's like, man, I have to force myself because I don't want to miss a day. And once you start doing that, no, I said I was going to do it every day. Come hell or high water. To me, that's a personal victory, whether I'm successful or not. You try doing 100 of these, just staring at your, because I don't have the software to pull up another window, and I don't even want to do that. You try talking for a half an hour every day in front of you with nobody else around. You got all the weight on you. It's like being a boxer. You can't. If I fuck up, I mean, that's what I. So that 100 to me is like a victory, man. Like, shit, I did 100 of these because I've been planning this for years to do it, and I was going to do different things, and I think this is my fourth it'd be like my 4th month doing this. Is it 4 months or 3 months? I started in May. Did my first podcast. And I got to thank people like Howard Stern, Artie Lang, Stutter and John, even Shuley, all them. I mean, they've given me so many hours of entertainment, and just like, you throw it on, you're having a bad day, or even if you're like cleaning your house or whatever, and you hear something, it gets you going. It's something you could rely on. Even those old shows, there's some I have re-watched or listened to. I can't tell you how many times. The high-pitched mic when he went to Disneyland. I mean, that's gold. It's just, and it happened organically. Now, granted, I know there's people behind the scene, this, that, and other, feeding Howard stuff, but it wasn't like a bit. It wasn't written like, okay, we got a team of writers. No. And Artie, he just like died of a heart attack. I mean, shit. I laugh every time I've listened to that 100 times, maybe more. I still laugh. I know what's coming, and I still just. And Howard, like him, some things that get to Howard. There's a story Artie talks about, Ash Wednesday. Again, that's another just killer. And Howard, I've never heard him laugh. So, I mean, he lost it. YouTube Artie Howard Ash Wednesday story. That's it. Or the high-pitched mic Disneyland story. Genius. It doesn't get any better. I mean, it and the flow of how it happened, again, the pace. It isn't fake. It's happening. You're everybody else is commenting. It's just awesome. I don't think, again, I think that Shuley doesn't get enough credit for what he did for Howard. Shuley has got and I like Shuley's like fighting spirit, man. He is, now he's at that time. People are like, well, yeah, he's like that so he can get camera time. Well, who cares? To go in the studio with Howard Stern, like shit, because you're it's coming. They're leading you in. They're like, okay, we know something about you this weekend, and then you don't even act. Then bam, they're going to hit you with something. Yeah, check out again Howard. He's still on. Artie, his old podcast. He's done a few, and him on Howard. Stutter and John's got the world famous Stutter and John podcast. Check him out. I watch him. People are going after Stutter and John and making fun to this day. Okay, yeah, whatever. What have you done? Okay, with a disability, man. With you know what I'm talking about? He had to fight probably 1,000 times harder for something that somebody just threw away and didn't even give a damn about. And I've had that also in my life. He's an inspiration, man. Granted, I don't agree with everything he says, and a lot of times his show isn't that funny, but sometimes it is. Shuley too. Shuley's, hey. Right now, I think because Artie's is gone. Out of all the people on Howard Stern, because a lot of them do. Shuley's got the funniest podcast now. Check him out, The Shuley Show. I think all these guys, man, they helped me, inspired me to do, even before there was a podcast. I mean, even before, like in the 90s when I loved Howard and I was listening to him. And then he had the E show. I would just watch. If there's a rerun, I didn't care. I just watch it. And again, people that I was staying with my mother, and she was like, Howard Stern. She hated Howard Stern. Like, what are you watching? What the hell? But then after a while, she wanted to see. Well, it's crazy, dude. Changed the world. I know that sounds crazy, but he did. He turned, had nothing, man. When he started, he was making, what did they say he was making? Like, he was his first DJing job. Like, he had to leave. He had to leave his wife behind and went to move to Detroit. And they rented him like a hotel room. He was making like 150 a week or something crazy. And, you know, he struggled. Again, he got fired from play. They didn't get it. He brought along Fred and Robin. And there's some aspects, Jackie the Joke Man. And Jackie, God bless him, made a big mistake about they were offering something like $2 million a year. And of course, there's a lot of money being made, but dude, $2 million a year back in, no, I want more money. They maybe Artie took Jackie's show, because I know they were looking for, yeah, that's what it was. Artie took Jackie, not Stern, John. I'm sorry. But he turned it down. $2 million. He admits it. He's like, dude, I should have, what? You know, wah, 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 wah. That's a mistake. Jackie had his own talent, again, writing and putting the paper and coming in all hungover. I guess you have to have an attitude when you're dealing with, like, you're just being bombarded with, you know, can you imagine being in that studio back in the day? You're gonna, and even Billy West, I should mention Billy West even before. He was awesome. Now he's the voice of everything. I mean, he's the king of the world, basically, voiceover actors. Howard did all that. Howard was the one. Now, granted, these people would have their own careers, and some of them even did. Like Artie was already doing his thing. But who catapulted them into this new stratosphere was Howard. A lot of people aren't like that. That's another thing with people like, oh, Howard didn't do enough. He didn't have to do anything. Most people don't. You don't know the name of the producer or some sideshow intern. You know what I mean? There's famous radio people that, you know, you think Harry Perry or Harry Carey, whoever was doing all kinds, you know. No. Howard was the one that, like, and I get his attitude. Like, look, what else do you want me to do? You can go out and do your own theater shows or whatever, sell T-shirts. I mean, I think he was against T-shirts, but what are you going to do? But then again, he didn't want to be, can you imagine? Like, then they want more. I get that. Even my low level, people, you give them a little bit, they just help me. Like, leave me be, I already, shit, you're on your own now. I already got you where you're going, just go. People rag on Howard. What, he didn't make you enough millions or what? Shit. He didn't have to do any of that. He didn't have to make you a star, basically. You know, D-list or whatever it was. He didn't have to do that. You're suckling the teat of Howard Stern. Okay? That's what you're doing. He don't owe you shit. Hell, get off his teat. He had, how many teats has he got? He had like a fucking cow or something. Shit. He had a lot of people that he was, you know, it's a heavy burden that he didn't honestly have to do. But he's smart. He knew, he had a plan. He knew that, man, this, forget about writers and all this other stuff. I'll just use what I got. These people are coming up. They're more interesting than Beetlejuice is funnier than all of them combined. Come on. That's a 2-hour show right there, just dealing with Beetlejuice. Arguing with Eric the actor. Just, again, YouTube some of it. Of course, you guys are going, yeah, duh, we know this. But maybe you don't. Maybe you should check it out. If I was in Howard, I don't think I would have done that. I don't think I would, like, man, I only got so many time. How much draining it takes to get that 4 hours of getting up early, living your life, going to bed at 8 or 9 at night to be up on air at 6 in the morning or 5, whenever it was. So, he could get up at 3 or 4, getting there. Oh, Ronnie, the limo driver, love Ronnie. He retired, but he was a long time. He was Howard's limo driver and then head of security. Again, if I'm missing out, there's so many characters. Again, that was Howard's genius. Was like, look, I ain't gonna hire anybody. I'll just use these people around. I mean, I kind of did that when I was in Love Engineering. We needed, like, we're getting more successful, but we're getting bigger gigs and playing more. We needed road. Well, who's your girlfriend's brother, and it's so and so, and whoever, and his girlfriend's brother, and somebody, and a fan, and yeah, come on along. We'll pay in beer and. But yeah, I have to give it to Howard. I have to be honest and be like, man, thank you for so much helping me just get through life. Just listening to you help me overcome certain things. I could relate to Howard. I could relate to Artie. I could relate to Stuttering John. I could relate to Shuley. I could relate to all of them. Because their honesty, they weren't trying to, no. Some people can do that. Some people are good at that. I love Howard. I hope he works for another 20 years. I hope he's there like 90-something years old. Howard's there. And Fred, just, I mean, Fred Norris is amazing. Genius. Just every word you could pile on him. Robin. Because honestly, Howard, Fred, and Robin will do a show that's better than all of them combined on a bad day. That he's kind of mellowed a bit because, he's old. I mean, again, he's done it all. We can repeat what he's already shit. He's an artist. He has to do new things. He changes. That's what happens. I'm not the person I used to be. I used to be a wild man. No, not anymore. Do I want to do wild man shit? Nope. See, I've mellowed too. I'm not all, is that good thing too. Fuck, I might not have made it. But I love y'all. I do this every day. I'm doing it every day. So I'll see you guys tomorrow. Be blessed. Cheers.